So we're going to be talking about determining the location of a terminal point given the signs of trigonometric values. So if you see the symbol, that means positive. Well, what I meant to say was, oopsies. If you see greater than 0, that means it's positive. And if you see less than 0, that means it's negative, okay? So I'm going to show you really quick. This is quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look at your unit circle, you can see that in quadrant 1, all of the trig functions are positive. In quadrant 2, the sine and the tangent are positive. And that means that the cosecant and the cotangent. So these are all positive. The only negative one is the cosine and therefore the secant. So these ones are negative. In quadrant 3, the tangent and the cotangent are the only positive functions. And therefore the cosine, sine, secant, cosecant are negative. So secant and cosecant are reciprocals of the cosine and the sine, and the cotangent is a reciprocal of the tangent. So in quadrant 4, the cosine and the secant are positive. And we have sine, cosecant, tangent, cotangent. These are negative. The reason why they're positive and negative and all those things depends on our quadrants. So if you remember that this axis is the x-axis, the one that's horizontal, and the one that's vertical is y. And when we make our points, the x value is our cosine and the y value is our sine. So when we're in quadrant 1, all of the x and all of the y are positive. When we're in the second quadrant, the x values are negative and the y values are positive. So you can see that the cosine is negative and the sine is positive. And since the tangent is sine divided by cosine, the tangent will be negative along with the cosine. Wait a minute, why is the tangent positive in the second quadrant? That's not true. The tangent and cotangent should be negative. I have this written down in my notes wrong. Let's fix this. So we're going to fix this right here. Okay, so cosecant and nope, I don't even have that part right. Okay, let's just fix this. Okay, so on this side, positive is the sine and the cosecant. And then the negative will be the cosine, the secant, tangent, and cotangent. Those ones will be negative. Okay, then in quadrant 3, because cosine and sine are both negative, that means your x and y values are negative. The tangent and cotangent will be positive, because if you take a negative number divided by a negative number, you get a positive number. And then here we have the cosine, so x is positive and our sine will be negative. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at these problems. So we have the cosecant is greater than 0. So we're saying cosecant is positive. So we look at our examples here. Where is cosecant positive? Cosecant positive would be in, I didn't finish writing this. Can you believe this? This is positive. Woo. Okay, so cosecant is positive right here and right here. So it's either quadrant 1 or 2. And here this says the cosine is greater than 0, which means the cosine is also positive. If you look at quadrant 2, the cosine's negative, so it has to be quadrant 1. In problem B, the cotangent is less than 0. So where is the cotangent less than 0? We have cotangent, oh, that means negative. So cotangent is negative quadrant 4 and quadrant 2. But we also want the sine to be positive. Now sine is our y value, so that has to be quadrant 3. That's where it is going to be, both of those things. So our answer is wrong. Wait, cotangent is negative here, and the sine is positive here. Oh, well, no, it's not. Oh, that's because, whoopsies, it's quadrant 2. What the heck? Recheck. Boom. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more just because we were problematic there. Okay, so if the sine is less than 0, that means the sine is negative. So where is the sine negative? That's our y value. So it's quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. Now the tangent is negative. So that means it is going to be quadrant 4. Let's make sure we click the right one. Boom. And then here, our second one, we have our sine is positive. So sine is y, it's positive either in quadrant 1 or quadrant 2, but our cosine is negative. That's our x value, so it has to be quadrant 2. Let's click that correctly. Boom, check. And that's the end of our lesson. Thank you for joining.